Okay, we're going to talk about the very common evocation of faith. I just see it too much. I'm making videos simply so I can just reference it to someone and say, this is my thoughts on it, this is why you're wrong. And yeah, basically there's two definitions of faith. If you look on answers.com, you'll find two definitions. The first definition says that faith is based on trust and logic and based upon evidence. The second definition says it's not based upon any evidence or logic. So, as you can see, faith is already a loaded word. It incapacitates not only beliefs that are based upon logic, beliefs that are not based on logic specifically. So you run into some dilemmas with that, of course. Okay. Alright, so here's the common argument I hear. Basically, a theist will throw out that, okay, you as an atheist need faith just as badly as we do. So we all need faith, therefore both our claims are valid. So there's three propositions there. The first proposition is that atheists need faith for something. Maybe we need faith in our instruments. Maybe we need faith that our senses are reliable, but we need some sort of faith to bridge the gap between certainty and absolute certainty, which I'll be addressing later on. And the second proposition is that theists also need faith for their claims. Therefore, the third proposition would be that all faith claims are equal. Now, here's the problem. They're evocating faith, and it's all too common. I even see non-believers evocating faith in the same way. So, like I said, one faith definition means it's based upon logic and evidence. This is actually a synonym for trust. In that sense, trust is based upon logic. You don't trust someone for no reason. That would be blind faith, essentially. You have reason behind it. For instance, people say you have faith in your chair. I do have faith in my chair. And here's why. I look at my chair and I see it's stable. I sit in my chair and I feel that it feels sturdy and it's not going to fall down upon me. And I have no reason to believe it's going to fall down upon me because it has never fallen down upon me. All the evidence says this chair is as safe as possibly can be. That is completely based on evidence. But do I have absolute certainty it won't break upon me? Of course I don't. And I can't have absolute certainty on such claims. You can't have absolute certainty on almost any claim. The only claims that may even come close are mathematical claims. Like, for instance, a triangle always equals 180 degrees. Claims like that. Those kind of claims you can get absolute certainty from as far as I can understand. Of course, laws of logic can be flawed, but you really destroy the universe with that one. Anyways, okay, and now back to the second proposition, that theists also have faith, therefore we're equally valid. See, the problem there is that they're not using the same definition of faith. That's where the evocation comes in. They say that faith is not based upon logical evidence because they believe in a claim that there's no evidence for. Unless you have evidence for God, then we're arguing something else, and it completely changes the subject. So, assuming they don't have evidence, and I'd love to see your evidence if you do, it's not the same. It's an evocation. You can obviously see it, and if you know that, you're not going to make the same argument. When people do that, though, they see this claim, and it gets burned down, and then they use it again later on other people, like it never happened. I call this the sandcastle syndrome. The idea is that, a little boy goes down to the beach with his mom, he builds up this big sandcastle, and he says to the sea, "Look at my sandcastle. It's so great and powerful, and it'll never get knocked down. There's nothing you could do to ever knock down this sandcastle." He goes home, doesn't worry about it, comes back a little while later, maybe a day or two, comes back, the sandcastle's completely gone. The sea tore it up. And then he builds back up the sandcastle. And he says again to the sea, "You'll never destroy it. It's impenetrable." That's the same idea. They build this argument, it gets destroyed, and they build up the argument again. Like a little boy who doesn't understand the difference, doesn't understand the point that the ocean will always eventually break down the sandcastle. They don't understand. It's ridiculous. It's like, how can you possibly use the same argument again after it's been refuted? And I just call it the sandcastle syndrome, and that's the way I demonstrate it. It's supposed to be a little derogatory, because anyone who gets the argument refuted and then reuses it is a little screwy, I think. I mean, I guess they're not necessarily insane, but something's wrong with them. The religion's getting to their head, I guess. And that's all I got on the evocation of faith. Again, if I'm wrong, point it out. If I got the propositions mixed up, if you can frame the argument a different way, I'll make another video on it. I don't think you can possibly connect atheist to faith the same way. because I think it's pretty evident that we do not rely on the same faith as theists rely on. And at least science doesn't rely on the same faith that theists normally rely their faith on God. And that's really all I want to say in this video. Have a good freaking day.